What's up, America? Tony from the Real American Outdoors here, and today I'm going to show you how I store food in Mylar bags. Alright, so before we get started, let's go over some of the supplies you need. So first, you need some sort of, label, or if you want to just write on the Mylar bag, you can do that too, but this come with the pack, so I use this as my labels. You'll need some sort of marker to write with, and some scissors to cut open your packages of food. You'll also need oxygen absorbers. Doesn't really matter what brand, as long as you make sure you get the correct size of oxygen absorbers. These are 500 cc's. Our bags we will be using is gallon size Mylar bags. This is 5 mil thick. The thickness of Mylar bags are measured in this mil size. The higher number you go, the more thicker it is. I recommend that you at least get 5 mil as for your size, just because if you do bag rice and pasta, less chance of a puncture or a bag failure as opposed to beans. People do swear by there is 4.2, 4.3 mil bags out there that work just fine, but I recommend going with at least 5 mil. And I also recommend, if you to keep your bag size consistent, I use gallon bags, but you can do whatever you want. And also, lastly, you will need all your food. So today we are going to be doing some elbow macaroni, a lot of enriched grained white rice, and then some spaghetti over there. One last thing about the oxygen absorber, since we are using gallon size Mylar bags, the kind of rule of thumb is you need at least one 300 cc oxygen absorber for a gallon. I like to go overkill, so these are 500, and I usually put 2 of each in there. And another thing with the oxygen absorbers, as you can see, the indicator will stay pink if the oxygen absorber is still working, absorbing oxygen. This will turn purple if oxygen has gotten into this bag, and as you can see, we are pink, so we are good to go. Lastly, for our heating device, I'm going to be using my wife's hair straightener. It gets hot enough, does the job, cheap, affordable option, but you can use any sort of clothing iron or any other vacuum sealer that gets hot enough in order to seal your Mylar bags in order to create the heat you need to create that good seal. Okay, I got my labeling done. I know you're not going to be able to read this. I know my handwriting's crappy, but I don't really care. So normally what I do, I always write down what it is. So this is enriched long grain white rice. Next, I do the month and year I purchased it, which I purchased this in September, so it's September 21. I also put on the package best by date, which in this case it is May of 23. And I also put on the approximate amount of years, if stored correctly, proper seal, oxygen has been absorbed, of how long it lasts. For rice, beans, and pasta, that is typically 25 plus years, is what you can see on the internet. Obviously, if you're doing instant mashed potatoes or something else like that, you want to make sure of your shelf life, just in case. Hopefully, we never have to. Hopefully, I can open this 24 years later because, it's coming due, not because I have to eat this in 2 to 3 years because of food shortages. So let's go ahead and now get the food in the bags. Alright, as you can see, we now have put our food in our bag. Now I'm going to show you how I seal them. So the first part of the sealing process, we're only going to seal about 3/4 of it. And for that reason is because once we open the oxygen absorbers, they're going to be absorbing oxygen right away. So I'm not going to want to do one of these at a time. Essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to seal every one of these bags about 3/4 of the way and leave enough to where we can put the oxygen absorber on the side. And then once we do that, then we'll show you how I put the oxygen absorbers in and quickly move and seal the rest much more faster than doing all the full length at a time. So first we're going to start out, I just try to get a little bit of the air out. As you can see, obviously there's going to be some air in there because we're not going to do it 100%. Essentially I just go back and forth. You don't want to press too long on one spot because you don't want to burn it and lose the structural integrity of your bag. I always make sure I do the side really well here. Make sure there's no gap where the air escapes, and the top. And then you'll notice it kind of wrinkles up there on the side, that's what you want. That means you're getting a good seal. And then now we have our little spot that'll put the oxygen absorbers in once we get to that point. So I'm going to seal up the rest of these bags, and then let's put the oxygen absorbers in. Alright, now it's time to put in our oxygen absorbers. Normally I like to put 2 in the bag, 500 cc's each. I usually like to match up 1 pack of these 10 would be 5 bags. Obviously we have 7 bags, so some are going to get 3 this time. Because obviously you can resave them if you don't want to you know, use more than what you really need, even though I'm already doing overkill here. So now we're going to open these up, and then we're going to start putting them in the bags. And I'm going to do that really quick, and I'll show you the first one, and then it's not kind of boring. You'll just see me putting in bags, so we're just going to skip after this once I put them all into the final seal. Alright, we put our oxygen absorbers in. We're going to make sure they're all the way down. Then we're going to let air out one more time, and then we're going to do our final seal across our remaining quarter of the bag. Make sure we get the end there. Just go back over there a couple times. And then we are sealed. And as you can see, when these were in the vacuum sealed package, the color was pink. As you can see, it got exposed to oxygen, and now it is purple. If that can focus. But if you see the purple, that means your oxygen absorbers are not dead, but I wouldn't use them because they've already started absorbing oxygen. It ruins their shelf life. So as you can see, these do work even though they're cheap Chinese. They're oxygen absorbers. They will get the job done. And now we'll show you how I lay them out in order to make sure they form to shape. So when they're all sealed, I usually lay them out on my spare bedroom. I usually lay them out flat so they can kind of form fit them because they will vacuum seal a little bit. So as you can see, these 7 are the ones that we just did here. And then here's 5 more I did last week. So as you can see, this is rice, this is rice, this is rice. This one really vacuum sealed nice. This one not so much. I'm not really worried if it doesn't vacuum seal. One common misconception about this is that it has to vacuum seal. All you're doing with the oxygen absorber is taking the oxygen out of the air. Oxygen is only 21% air, so the remainder here is just going to be nitrogen. Also, it also depends how well you actually, you know, as you saw when I folded it over, but when I sealed it, how much air I actually got out. So it'll take probably about a few days for these to fully absorb everything if they do vacuum seal. Some cases, because we went overkill on these oxygen absorbers, you might even see it in a few hours. As you can see, this album macaroni over here is definitely pretty sealed up. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out on Real American Outdoors and the Real American Fishing Challenge powered by TourneyX. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.